Hello, everybody in between something innovative and incredibly creative and the conceptions that come from that creativity. I'm a perky purple platypus, and today I'll be talking about my second main in Dead by Daylight, Pyramid Head. This is the build that I use and the mindset that I have that I'll be taking you through as being a rank 1 killer. So, it's incredibly like my Blight build, and I'll walk you through why. Most of my builds are not the same, however, on Pyramid Head, most of the same stuff works. First of all, Tinkerer. Tinkerer works for a different reason that it works on Blight, and that is because the Undetectable gets rid of his heart rate, which is good. Sorry about that. But the main thing is, they never ever ever see your punishment of the damned coming, which allows you to hit through walls. So it gives you a free hit when using Tinkerer. Once you use punishment of the damned, Rune will trigger. Now, there's a specific reason I use Rune instead of Pop. I use Rune because it's better for the start of the game. And if you have a good start, usually you can snowball. Pop's usually better for the late game. But that's one reason why I use Rune. The other reason I use Rune is because I do not like relying on hook perks with Pyramid Head, because his Cage of Attunement denies survivors their hook perks. However, it also denies you yours. And Pop Goes the Weasel is a hook perk. So I tend to avoid using hook perks, and I'll be going over why. Next, just to make sure I have Runa up, I have Hex Undying. We've already talked about this one, it's fantastic. Now, Blight doesn't struggle from finding people at the start, which is incredibly important, because if he guesses the wrong place, he can just rush somewhere else. Pyramid Head, though, does not have that mobility. He can and chases incredibly quickly, though, and he has fantastic map pressure. And so, to make sure I can find someone really, really fast, I have Whispers, which will tell me when a survivor is in 32 meters of me. If you really understand the fundamentals and the basics of this perk, you can pinpoint people with this perk based on when it activates. You'll see it on your screen activate, and you'll also hear a weird whispering when this occurs. Now, what Pyramid Head does has a lot of steps. First of all, he leaves trails on the ground that are like barbed wire. If anyone goes into it, they become tormented, which is the secondary power. His primary power is he has a slight ranged attack that goes exactly in front of him, 8 meters of where he triggers it. It's a wave. The wave can go through walls, it can hit people vaulting windows and pallets. It is incredibly, incredibly powerful if you can use it properly. Now, the second part, if someone is tormented and you down them, then you can send them to a cage. The cage will be on the opposite side of the map. Now, what this does is it denies them their hook perks. So why this is so fantastic is, let's say you get someone tormented, you put them on a hook, you down them immediately getting off the hook, and then you can cage them. And then from that cage you can also hook them again, which would just be a flat out kill. They cannot decisive strike you, borrowed time doesn't work. It's just a really fast way of getting people through hook states, which is phenomenal, and I want to support that part of Pyramid Head because it's an incredible ability of him. At the third, if they're tormented and they are on their third hook state, so if you would hook them and they would die, then instead you do an unbelievably fast Mori that lasts like 2 seconds. It's fantastic. That's Pyramid Head. Why don't we hop into a game? Torment Creek. This is the game I should have lost, but I didn't because Rune is in the game. So what I'm trying to do here is trying to listen for whispers to proc. It does now, so I'm looking over here more towards my totem because I need to defend that. I hear a generator. I thought I did, but no one is on it. I see a person at a dull totem, thanks to Undying, so I decided to go for that. I place down a trail to try and get the punishment hit, and I miss it. So I go in looking for where they are, and I miss them because they're not moving right there. So I move on, trying to check the outside of the shack, see no scratch marks, and think this makes no sense. So I decide to try and check the other locker. I missed that hit because locker hitboxes are kind of big. And then for some reason I don't break the pallet, which would have just been the smart move to just do immediately because that's a god pallet. And getting that out of the way is a big deal. So I run over to the generators, how quickly it's done. It tells me there's been like 3, maybe 2 people on it. Thankfully I hit one of them. It was really risky going for the trail there when Torment would have just worked. They tried to kind of like bait me in the corn by putting down a ton of scratch marks and confusing me, but since they're injured it didn't work because I can hear them moaning and pinpoint them that way. I am now at 1 hook at 4 gens, which is not great. So I start trying to check the other generators. I see this one's, going down. I go back to shack. With a small little bit of trail to try and block off shack for later. Realize it doesn't really work. And then I go back to the hook to try and contest them the unhook. The unhook happens. I'm pretty sure they're going towards the left. Shill's here, but I don't want to hit her in case she has a decisive strike. So I take this person. I get slightly confused and I see her through that window. So I start running over towards where I saw the blood last. I see her here, and I decide to go for the really long range one. I don't think I can make that, so I actually head back because I think there's 2 people on it and not 1. So I decide to get the hook. I'm actually wrong about this. It's 1 person, and I 100% could have stopped that generator. So I know there's a person to my right because they just got my Undying totem. Thankfully they don't get my rune. And for some reason I don't go towards it. But this generator does blow up, which tells me someone was on it. I don't see anyone here, and it was pretty recent, so I assume scratch marks. That's why they actually they came out of the locker next to me, and for some reason I thought they went into it, so I checked it. It was a really, really stupid mistake, because it eased it about like 2.5 seconds out of chase, and now I've kind of lost them. I don't know where they went, and for some reason I decided to just start checking lockers again, which was a tremendous amount of time. It really, really, really hurts me. Don't ever check a locker unless you're pretty sure. I just go for that in case they're working on my bones, but that's stupid because I can hear that. So I go back to where I suspect they are, and I just throw out a Torment trail, assuming that they hear me coming, but they actually didn't and continued to work on the gen. I guess they would go to slow roll the window. Thankfully, they think they can hide in the corn, and I see them thanks to their red outfit. I see them there, and I realized I can get a hit here, and I decided to do it. Thankfully, I don't miss this punishment. I head right on back. when I'm heading back, I actually see them slow vaulting, which gets me another hit, and believe it or not, these 2 hits are what give me a lot of pressure and momentum, and probably without them, I would have lost this game easily. I made a lot of bad decisions, but that right there gave me an unbelievable amount of pressure. So I decided to hook her right here, and that's that. I see that this gen is really close to being done, because I hit the 70% mark, but I think there's only 1 person on it, so I know I'll make it. I hit them with punishment. Thankfully, they didn't see that coming and weren't looking in my direction. Since they decided to drop the pallet and my trail was already down, I just get the fastest down in the history of downs. Pretty lucky because the survivor was being foolish. I'm almost certain someone's working on this, so I tried to cut through here to do basement, which I secure. So now I got 2 people on hooks, which means they should unsave, but they're probably gonna go for this gen. And since the this should be down, and it connects thankfully because I guessed correctly. I actually make a huge mistake here trying to take her down to basement, when I should have just got the guarantee hook, because that would have been way more pressure. She's actually going to barely escape this. If it was first hook in basement, I could have done it, but it's not. I have to get the second hook. She unhooks, and since she has borrowed time, Cheryl actually gets away. So I just decided to get the guaranteed basement hook, and I head back down to the basement. As gen pops, I go for the back hook because I'm in absolutely no rush. Thankfully for me being here, that gen has regressed quite a bit. Without Rune, that might not have happened. The 200% regression has come in big, but actually the big thing for Rune for me is the not having to kick it. I see that they healed, so I'm relatively certain it's not in the basement, but I wanted to fully check since I was already in the area. I start trying to find them, and I get confused with whispers because I forget that I hear them working on totems, so I know they're right behind here. They think standing still will work again, but it does not. And if I'm not mistaken, they go down very, very shortly. Instead of trying to contest a basement, because I'm pretty sure they'll just make it out, even if I do slug, I just decided to get the guarantee hook in basement to apply even more pressure. For some reason, I go for first hook here. Probably because I realized back hook doesn't really matter in this situation, and actually will probably waste me more time walking to the back hook and then away from it than actually walking to it. I had a sneaking suspicion they might have been in that locker, so I just tormented it. But yeah, I don't think they were. I started patrolling generators to find them. I placed a trail down. And for some reason I swing at that even though I don't hear gen movement, which doesn't make too much sense. I then move on to the generator with my totem near and I hear work. I place it to see if anyone's here. Someone was here, so I start to chase them. They dead heart in anticipation, and for some reason I aim straight for the power instead of aiming slightly to the right, which is actually going to hurt me quite a lot. I know they're over here because they quick vaulted this, but I want to make sure no one's on the totem. No one was, so I continue. Rune's really big and I know that, so I need to be protecting it. Check this generator, no one's on it. And missing that hit actually was really, really, really devastating. But thankfully, I find someone else quickly, and I'm able to predict the movements because of Killer Instinct. Because they stepped on a Torment trail. I sent them to the other side of the map, and that will kind of tell me if they're on the other side of the map. It appears they are not over by this gen, and I know that because of whispers, but for some reason I forget that I have whispers. So I start going over to the other side of the map, and I see that they uncaged there, so I start heading over. I know that they will make it, because they healed incredibly quickly, and they did it on the hook, which, makes sense, but will make it. I'm hoping she'll try and do a similar corn play. She doesn't, and she actually goes for a building this time. I try to assume her movements, and I notice I'm not doing a great job. So I actually just leave a trail to try and fake it, and then I go for it. Because I could have hit the other ones there, which would confuse her a bit, and hopefully make her assume that I'm not gonna go for it, which seemed to work. I got one down, and I don't think I'm gonna make it to this gen, but I can contest the other ones. I should barely make this, and I actually miss it. I know I have a window here, and I just try and guess that to scare her. I see there's another person back there, which tells me that gen shouldn't be worked on, but I am actually wrong. The last person is working on that gen over there. But thankfully, since I know it's only one, I know I'll make it. And I assume they'll be working at the least obvious direction, so I wrote out a Torment like that. I take a guess, which is bad, and destroy the pallet. And I see a slight bit of movement of hers from down there, and I just start following the scratch marks because those are more likely to be accurate. In fear that they might be working on the gen, and there's only one more, I go back to it. I didn't have to Torment there, and actually probably wasted me some time. I'm going to just listen for it, but I did. I see that they actually mess up on this gen, which is really, really, really big for me. So I decided to try and get the Torment, but I need to just listen for the generator noise. I know they're working on this because I saw Rune proc. So I started following the blood in hopes that I'll find them. I actually ran past them and didn't see them right there. And you can see it if you rewatch that clip. Probably a bit slower, but you can see like a black mass. I started following the scratch marks, which is probably not my best option, but I have hope that I can find them. But I notice I'm getting really far from the last 3 generators, so I actually back off. I didn't hear gen noise this time, so I didn't use my punishment. I did lose a little time placing in the trail though, as you slightly lose speed while using punishment. I know they probably saw me coming, and now I know there's 2 people going over here because I heard an explosion, which couldn't be caused by her. I get the basic hit here, and then go immediately back. I actually missed the punishment there, which is terrible news. But I should get the hit here, which connects. I see that they got tormented, which tells me they were working on this generator. I missed the punishment, which is actually gonna hurt pretty bad. I decided to go for this because I know she's not gonna make it to window. Then I go over to this generator knowing the person is injured. And they can't hear my terror radius and they're probably getting greedy. So I just decide to punishment because they would get very close. It was a bit of a gamble because they could have been on the other sides. It was 50-50. But I took my bet. She got up because of adrenaline at the most unfortunate time, and thankfully for me, I can use my final judgment and just finish her off. One person is going to engage the person probably around now. I don't know. There we are. And since I know that, I know they're probably going to be going for this gate right here, which they haven't even started working on. So I just leave a trail near it, and I find them right next to me. I hit them with punishment, and then I decide I'll just pick them up. They help me out a little bit because they see I'm really struggling, and they DC. And that right there is the rest of the game. I hook, and then I run over to the gate to open it for the extra, just a little bit of blood points. I noticed I maxed. Yeah. That is the match. Badham Preschool. This is actually a very survivor-strong map, and hopefully we can do well here for ourselves. I'm just placing down a little bit of a trail, just in case someone walks into it, and I'm just patrolling generators. So I found someone. Thankfully, I found someone rather easily and rather quickly, thanks to whispers. They got one of my hexes already, but that's why we have Rune Undying. So now I can account for where two of them are, and just with a quick, easy punishment just like that, Bill is down and out of the game. So I'm gonna hook him to get that very, very early hook, which will apply some pressure. I would have gone down towards whoever was in the basement, but I suspect that's Nancy, and she's right in front of me, so I go right for her. I see she's going for this main building, and I know she's going to go for that window, but since it's on my path to the generator, I decide to follow her. I thought maybe I could get a punishment off if she faked it, but she obviously didn't. Next I start approaching this generator, and I just run out a random punishment in hopes that she was going to loop that way, but she smartly decides to loop Shack, and because of that I decide to punish her if she sticks by Shack, but because of that I lose her, and because of that I think, oh, she must be in a locker, but she isn't, and thankfully I find her scratch marks again. It takes me about 5 seconds to get on her again. Missing a chase can really, really, really hurt, but if you follow scratch marks, eventually you should find them. She's taking me towards another generator, one that is being worked on, so I decide to continue. If I found someone else during that, I probably would have not chased her, but seeing that I thought I could find her in 15 seconds, I went for it. I find her here. I decide to torment this pallet, so then as she uses it, she gets, you know, kind of screwed over. And I decide to try and go for the punishment, but she's obviously paying like somewhat of attention. I go for a punishment here, which is really stupid, because it would have hit, yes, but there's a hole there. So, doesn't, because she takes another path. I see, for some reason, I miss Nancy there, but I hear this generator over here, so I decide to go for that one. I see someone just got off it, so I try and find them, and I realize that I don't, but I'm back on this person's trail. So I start going for her again. Missing that Nancy was actually very, very, very bad for me. It resulted in a pretty bad hit. I hear this gen over here, so that seems like getting a person off a gen is way better than just chasing someone for a while. So I decided to go for the person on the gen. But no one's there. But Bill was here, and for some reason he stupidly just walked in front of me. That's the gem that Nancy was working on. Bill's paying somewhat attention and easily dodges that, but he's probably going to go down in around 10 seconds or so. Nancy finished that generator. That's fine. That's our first gen to go. That is not a problem. I missed that attack because for some reason I think my lunge is longer. I just get a quick punishment off to account for that small failure that I made to make up for that time. And I hook Bill. It's very, it's really good that we go for Bill, and if they're stupid here and they make a mistake and Bill doesn't have DS, that's it. Bill's out of the game. So they need to be very careful about how they play this, or else I'm gonna hook him. Like, it'd be stupid not to. I see that she's probably going for Bill, and so I place down my punishment in hopes that, well, that she will, and I'll get the double hit, and there will go Bill. But that's not the case. Since I actually did do that, though, I see this, which means they didn't play it right. So I try to get a little tap on Nancy, and I hear a Torment upstairs, which means I know they're healing Bill. All right, so I attempt to get the punishment. I miss, because Bill slightly moved, and because they made that wrong play, I put him back on the hook. Just like that, Bill's out of the game. You need to be very, very, very careful if someone's on third hook, especially this early. This early, you can make sure killer's gone. You don't unhook them any earlier than you have to. I just decided to break this, and I could go for the hound, but I also could stop a generator. Seeing that, you know, them finishing their generator is their primary objective, I decided to go for that instead of a down. Seeing that I saw the spark gun, I just decided to throw a Hail Mary. Maybe it hit. I blocked this pallet, just so, you know, I have some information if she goes for it again. She doesn't. I missed that. Checking on that generator. I don't see the spark stopping, so I continue to follow her. That's my rune, but we already have a player out of the game at 4 generators because of their mistake, and I basically already run 1. It's just a matter of just if I play unbelievably stupidly, which I don't think I do. She, for some reason, uses her thing to get a pallet stun here, which I think is a huge mistake. Because of that, and also because I missed this attack and that I have this open, don't open that one if you don't have to, because it's open to the main thing. But since I noticed the smoke, I know Nancy's up here, because otherwise I would have been notified. Since I wasn't notified, now she's upstairs. I want to stop generators, so I'd rather take down and stop a generator than just attempt to get it down and not stop a generator. So, you know, obvious decision there. I decided to kick this one because this one's almost done too. And I know they're probably going to go back on that one very shortly. Hopefully Tanker triggers. I'll go back to this generator just to make sure it's still sparking, because right now I got the time, so might as well. Because, you know, person's out of the game, we're doing fairly well. I see right here that they unhook here, which accounts for 2 of them, which is more than ever lobby at the moment, and so I chase them. I see that this is a trail of not Nancy. I I lost Nancy, but I just decided to commit to this one. I got a little tripped up there, but I figured it out pretty quick. I'm really committing to this chase. Normally I wouldn't recommend this unless you have Tinkerer or you're in the position that I'm in. I tried to get off Nancy because, you know, I didn't want to tunnel even more. But since she just walked in front of me and I know she can't have DS because I put her in a cage, just why not? Just put her back on. I kicked this generator. I'm pretty confident I won't make it to that one. I actually think I go to the wrong one here because I got confused for some reason, but it wouldn't have mattered. I don't make it there anyway. Or, yeah, I wouldn't have made it there. I would have been close, but I don't make it there. And if they're smart, they would have just powered through. She gets to stun on me here, and I hear her going up, so I try to stop her. She, for some reason, doesn't commit to the window, and she goes for the pallet instead. Huge mistake, because that window actually has a different level than the floor, which means my punishment would not have gone for it. I would have been forced to break that wall, because that would have been more advantageous for later. I see that there's work being done on that, and no one saved that Nancy. Means we're down to 2 because of their foolish mistake of not getting her. So now it's just 2 of us. They've made some very poor decisions. And since I just caged her, I can just down her. I'm gonna obviously hook her again because why wouldn't I? There's no consequence, and it betters my position. Now, I don't actually think I have hooked this Nancy yet. Or not Nancy, this Nia. I'm almost positive I haven't, and I'm also almost positive she's going for this hook. Because I saw scratch marks going this way. I was actually wrong. She's going the long way round. She attempts to double back because for some reason she thinks I wouldn't see this, or maybe she thinks she can get to a more advantageous spot by going around like this. But against a pyramid head, that's not a good plan. So you both get hit. Thankfully, for one of them, they borrowed time, so they're fine. But when facing a pyramid head, you need to take into account that he can hit multiple survivors, much like Bubba. I wasn't expecting to see her there. If I was, I would have just, you know, let out the punishment. But I wasn't. I was just trying to, you know, trap that window for her, so I'd have information if she stepped on that. But I made a very foolish mistake, and seeing that I'm probably not going to get the punishment here, I don't go for it. I try to, like, kind of fake her out, but it doesn't really work. And once again, see that breaking that wall really hurt me. She tries to dead heart, which tells me she's not really paying attention. And just while the game's winding down here, I want to mention that this footage is, I think, from a month and a half ago. I don't know if I've mentioned that in previous recordings, but it shows, at least to me. And you may have noticed that my trail there was actually zoning her, so then I could actually get closer, because she thought I was going to do a punishment. Survivors in that situation in a dead zone have pretty much, if you're aiming a certain direction, they have no choice but to stay in, like, not go where you're facing, because they have a chance to be hit by punishment, which they don't want. So in that situation, it's best to avoid switching. For some reason, I thought she went to lock her, which she didn't. Because punishment's just the best thing ever, as you can see, I haven't given a crap about pallets this entire game. And because how they're dealing with hooks this entire time and like getting people off it, I pretty much won this game. This is her last hook and Bingo Bongo. Alright, so you might have noticed my level has changed by a bit. 20 levels. In those 20 levels, I had to get rank reset happened. For some reason, it took me all the way back to rank 9 instead of 5. And Monitor Abuse came out, or I got Monitor and Abuse for Pyramid Head, and I decided, screw it, I want to do more. So you may notice that I have some rank 4 footage of this build, and that's because I went all the way back to rank 9, and I'm back at rank 1, so then stuff didn't look weird. But here it is, Tinker and Rune. We've already talked about this fantastic combo, and you go, oh no, what about Undying? And I go, all right, yeah, Undying works, and then you can do Nurses, which is really good, or I'm all ears. Modern Abuse is okay by itself, but I would honestly, the real wombo combo comes from putting them together. You could put the Deathbound, so then you just always know when people are healing, and they get like negatives if they heal near you or away from you. But honestly, Deathbound's and like who cares? They've already healed, so it's not a big deal. But the thing is, 28 meters is when Nurse's Calling works. But with Modern, normally your terror radius is 32, and any not stupid survivor will stop hearing once they hear your terror radius. If you're playing Pyramid Head, they'll fucking move because you know, they don't want to fucking die. But with Modern Abuse, your terror radius is dropped down to 24 when you're not in a chase, which means you'll always see them healing if you're approaching them. They won't stop because the terror radius won't be there for a tiny little bit. 4 meters. It's not a lot of time, but it'll give you the information, which is super valuable. And when you're in a chase, you get 8 more meters, which is what you want to like kind of scare people, because you're already preoccupied with someone else. So you might want to. It's good to try and get them to stop or be cautious when you're already in a chase. So, yeah. Here's the footage from like a month ago. Sorry it's taking so long to make this video. Alright, so here we are in our match with our new build with Monitor and Abuse. I see a survivor right here. I just decide to go for them. I see them like dodge to the left. I go, okay, they're probably just gonna do that again, honestly. So I go for the punishment. And at this point, I realize we might have some newer survivors. I might try and guess because they seem predictable. They're just throwing down pallets like they're hotcakes without like any logic or sense. And I know they're gonna just throw that pallet, so I throw out the punishment. This game here is like Nurse's Calling wet dream. It's crazy how much value I get out of this part of this game. I have never ever gotten this much value out of Nurse's Calling ever again. Not in a single match. But here, it's big money. And I thought I'd show it. This doesn't really reflect most of the survivors that I go up against, but just being able to show its potential on Pyramid Head is really cool. I would actually instead maybe recommend something like I'm All Ears and Undying. This is a good deal too. So they get the unhook here, and I know that. I see them healing, and I go for the hit. I know she's right here, so I decide to chase her. Punish them a little bit. For some reason, they do that. They sadly see my hex, and just to try and get her away from it, I take her to this hook, which the Ash is at, and she's been recovering here. So now I have accounts with both of them. I know Ash is right around here, so I just go for it. For some reason he throws down a pallet instead of using his speed boost, which is really dumb. And somehow I missed that because I'm bad. And now since I know the first hook didn't get ruined. No, they got ruined. I thought they would go for the hook first, so I'm going for the hook, and it was too late when they were getting the heal. I think I get it down really quickly here by just hitting her. And then I decide to try and slug because they're right here and they're injured. I somehow missed that, which I think should have connected, but it didn't. I see him right here, so I just get the down really quick, and I decide, oh, I'll just pick him up and hook him. But while I'm picking him up, I see healing, so I put him back down. And punishment. And here we have a very bad use of Sprint Burst. Just like that, we got a triple slug. I send her off. Pick up the one that has the most healing recovery. And I put her on a hook. Our other friend, though, seems to have had Unbreakable. And he picks himself up. I try and guess where he was going to go, just because I'm in a good position and I can do that. But I guess wrong. He actually went to the right instead of the left. I just follow his trail because I can apply a lot of pressure. I know where everyone is currently because that's where the Torment is. I see nurses, so I decide to try and go for it. I missed that stupidly. I get the down and I decide to leave her because the other person's right here and she's tormented, which means I can probably get both of them. I go for that Torment to zone her, which gives her really no point, and there we go, that's the down. I decide to just cage her first, and then quickly get the hook. For some reason, I try and drag her all the way down the basement, I think just because I can. And I don't make it. I don't think. My memory serves correct from like a month ago. Yeah, that's about right. It was a little ambitious, but you know, I was greedy. I was greedy for the basement hook. I thought it really would have cemented me. And even though I might be able to get it, I don't go for it this time. I just decide I'm gonna turn around, get this one right here. And then they finally just get a quick heal against me because they used For the People. Since I know she can't be healed, I just decide to defend this hook, make a bunch of Torment around it. There's like 2 angles they can approach this from, and it's not looking too good for them. I see it, and I decide to go for the hit, and I actually get a double hit. I know she's right here, So I'll go for the down. For some reason I got confused. I heard the sounds. I thought she was on the same level as me, but she wasn't. She's actually above me right now. And I realized that about now, and then I decided to go for her. I see the trail this way, and I see her healing over there. Hey, look, it's Kevin! And I see she's gonna drop, and seeing that these, like, really predictable survivors, I miss. And I try and go for the Torment here, she gets away. I try to do some guessing here. I miss. I could have turned around and maybe got that, but I see someone healing there. And I just decide, hey, hello. Like, these survivors are trying to desperately get off these health states. And because of nurses, I can't. I think she was almost done healing, and she knew the only way she was getting out of that is if she just quitted, but she didn't make it. I see someone else healing there, and I'm just going, alright. Hello. They're either clueless or they get really close to finish healing. I'm unsure what it is, but it just... stupidness. I decided to go for the guaranteed hook instead of just ending the game here because I want more hooks. That was my decision making there. I start going this way because I think that's probably where she'll like get the uncage, and I carry them for too long. Just, once again, I was like, I could try and push the limit here. I'm in a good position. Normally, I would just get the guaranteed hook, but here it seemed possible. I just try and get her to walk into my Torment. It doesn't work. I pick her up. And take him right here. I notice there's a pallet, so I have to switch direction. She's going to escape again. I see this challenge going on, and I know these survivors are not going to see me coming. So I hit him through the wall. For some reason, he's still working on it, and I hit the other person. So as he jumped down, I can't stop that gen from being complete, which they're still working on. I think this is definitely for this guy, or at least second. Second hook. I know they're working on that generator, so I try and get back up. I don't in time, and then I try and intersect her for the new open door, which I assume she would be going for. I try to predict her movement, which I got correct. That would have connected, but I thought the small stairs drop would be fine. I try and guess, and I get it right, because I assume she's going for the open door instead of the window. She's dead. Since there's like light scratch marks, I thought I could follow him, but I cannot. Only 2 survivors left, both on death hook and 3 gens. This game is pretty much over, and some of their decisions heavily cemented me the victory. They should not have committed to healing like they did. If you hear a terror radius getting like kind of loud and you're healing, especially if it's Pyramid Head or Nurse or anyone that might be able to just hit you with like sudden surprise, don't risk it. Just get the fuck out of there. Hold W. Don't drop pallets. Just hold W till humans at you. And be really careful while vaulting and throwing down pallets, or he'll probably nick ya. I just start throwing Trail of Torment and Gems. Have to do because here they're working on it. So I don't know why I'm doing it, but I am, and it takes me a while to find them. I have no clue where they are, and I suspect it's gonna be a little bit till then. I'm just hoping maybe a Tinkerer proc goes off soon, but it doesn't. I thought I heard footsteps, and I did. For some reason, they thought their only option was to... I don't know what the hell these survivors are doing. And honestly, it's very confusing. I don't know what they were planning to do there. I don't understand a lot of their decisions. But just showing that Nurses does have the potential that it does, it is a very, very good reward per the wrong Pyramid Head. Even just getting that one hit and stopping them from getting that pickup, the first Nurse's Calling hit, was unbelievably useful. And even if I didn't get those hits on those other survivors healing, it's very good to be that oppressive and stop them from being in. They probably found the hatch, and that's why they're vaulting. They found the hatch, and that's game. I just want to see what rank these survivors were. And I don't get bullet. Yeah, we have a few 7s, a few 8s. Alright, Run Fields. This is actually one of the toughest matches for a killer. Survivors have the highest escape rate, percentage-wise, on this match, or on this map. So I'm just looking around. I don't have anything to tell me where they are, but I see that crow. So I know they've been here 15 seconds ago. I decided to try and check other generators, and thankfully, I spot it here. There's no way that unless she was already injured, and Dart Hard, I can pull that out of the equation. She's not injured. So I see her getting there, trying to make movements, but she's not stupid. So since I see that she can actually dodge my torments, I tried to go for her. But I see the Tinkerer's on, and I try to get a hit and miss. I see that she's still working on it, and that's she's on the other side of the game. That's just, they're in a really bad position. I may not have gotten down, but I have the potential to do some serious damage. When picking up this survivor, they're probably going to try and stop me. I actually placed down my trail a little slow there. I now have the flashlight. Thankfully, they were not in the right position. There's no way to dodge that, so I get the down on Nancy. I see Claudette has healed. She's actually probably the one that goes for the rescue. This basement's pretty strong in the center house. I'll throw her here, which might have not been the best decision if I actually went for the another hook, I probably could have stopped this generator. Thankfully, somehow they've been so focused on that gen that they haven't seen my hex. I decide to not go for the blind hit, which was a really good decision because she went to the right. But now since she's tormented, I can see where she's going, and I blind torment. It does not attack. Punishment, sorry. I see her, she's right here, and I think there she has. I know where she is because of Killer Instinct, which is triggering when she's stepping off the rail, results in a super quick and easy down. I try to go over this way, see if that works on my axe totem, which they are not. I didn't need to throw that out, but I thought I heard someone cracking on the bones. Why? I threw it out because it's better to risk 2.5 seconds instead of losing room. I see Nurse's Colin into play here, and actually get a double hit and see it coming. She's tormented. That means I can get the hook on her again, but I want the planet. And I thought she would try and put out on that pallet, which she did. I got a pallet out of her. And I tried to chase her and somehow ran into Nancy. I started to go back to try and get her, and I realized she's probably nearing full recovery. I know Claudette's here, because I saw her. It's not Claudette, but they did have the flashlight. I know everyone's here now. And since I saw that light, I can get another super easy down. I pick her up. I doubt anyone's over here because it would be unbelievably dangerous. And I just decided to get the hit on the Claudette. I miss that Torment. I believe everyone, I missed this here. Oh, I don't. I thought she was going to chase me for a while. That was a worthwhile trade because now everyone's injured. And I got a pallet. And a down. Like that was a super risky decision, but it worked out. I saw a crow in the distance on the left side of this thing, so I assume they're going this way, which I get right. I try to make it there in time. Thankfully I do. To stop the heal. Which is usually how Nurses works, right? You see them healing and you stop it. You usually don't get the hit. Which is perfectly fine. They unhooked Claudette. I know that it wasn't Hex, because then they would have lost that. I see them healing again, so I go for it. I see someone healing in the basement, which is super big, because I know they're in the basement. So I kind of like Torment the way here, and for some reason, they decide to try and and for some reason, I decided to, I thought about caging. I realized, wait, backhook basement, easy. And, if they unhook them and I'm near, they're dead. They're just straight up dead. So in that case, Nurse's Calling was very, very, very big for us. I don't know where they went. I assumed they lost her because the trail or the scratch marks kind of stopped there. As well. I heard breathing. That's how I found her. I kind of accidentally engulfed her, which is super sweet. And I just decided to torment that pallet, so then I would know she's crossing me. I know they're over here, and I decide that I can probably tunnel someone out of the game. I didn't find anyone, took a risk, didn't pay off. And I somehow get the hit on Claudette. I thought she was in the window. Looked like she was going to, but I missed. Claudette's the one that's a bit more insightful at times, but since I knew she was gonna go for the window and commit to it, I decided to just commit to that hit. I see her hiding there stupidly, because yeah, it was a risky fight. If I didn't notice that, then could have gotten easy on hook. But that's not how that played out. And I lost her a little bit in the corn. I found her again. I see she's going out the window, but I just want to really cement my torment. I tried to get it killer instinct, but that situation is a little hard. Since I see Tinkers going off, I decided to go for it. And she didn't really see where I was because of the corn. So that was a super fast out. And thankfully, because they didn't see that rune at the very start somehow, I'm just absolutely demolishing. But if they did find it, I'll probably be in a lot worse of a spot. Thankfully, they get right back on the generator. Tinkler hit, rune hit enough where I could see that. But it is not looking, it's not looking too good enough. For some reason, I like that. I see they're on that again. And I think she dropped God Palette. She left, so, and I know this is still up, and I can't find her. Tried to lock her, not there. Kind of going against my advice, because I think I got a lot more hours since like I recorded all this footage, because I had to remake it back to 1. She really, really wants my attention. She wants a chase. She wants to get out. So I let her leave. I know basement's right here, so I put her in. I see that there's 2 Tinkers going off, and I have to decide on one. It's kind of based on which one's closer. I think this one's closer. I'll probably make it there first, so I go for it. I have no clue where they went. I assume they're actually going through the unhook. So I go back here. I don't see any scratch marks though. Then I assume they're probably back at this gen, and if they complete this one, they could actually get out. And then I see Claudette right here. I tried to turn as quickly as possible. I couldn't get it because Gimmin had turns a bit slower when he's dragging this Torment. And just like that, I almost lost Claudette. There's a little trick here. She's used 2 vaults of that window. I thought she would go for that one again, because that's what everyone does, but Claudette's smart. And she decides to Go for it. I realize pretty soon that I'm never ever gonna be able to get Claude out of here. As soon as I mean it takes me a bit. I think I can chase her up God Pallet here. She tries to vault. I got this. It's no problem. Guess where she's gonna go based off killing 6. It's just not working. So I get the pallet, and I know she's gonna go. I hear someone's on that generator. And I see if I hit them here, that's pretty much just, that's it. They're all injured. And then I see someone was just on this generator, but I decided I'll get the final judgment, guaranteed. And now Hatch is ready. I see the blood, and I actually noticed them around this generator. It's Nancy. She doesn't know where to go besides that tractor. And knowing that she's doing that, here, she goes for the drop. And she accidentally led me to the hatch. I final judgment her. I sprint over. I close it. Now all I have to do is find this injured girl and exit gate. They are, I think, pretty close together, if I'm not mistaken. And I try and like leave that exit gate because I think she might be there. Or she might be at the other one. So I start heading over. I see her over there. Thankfully, in this case, Whispers will be so great to have. She, for some reason, doesn't notice me. Like the. So I get the final judgment. Just like that. That's a completely final judgment game. A good way to finish it off.